Welcome to the 2015-16 NCAA Women's Ice Hockey Rules and Officiating Video Supplement. This video is focused on the women's game and is an addition to the larger rules and officiating video that applies to all NCAA play. Please be sure to review both videos thoroughly. This presentation is the direct result from a request from the AHCA Coaches Convention to collect and produce a more specific women's video. If you believe you have some video examples that would assist in educating officials in the women's game, please share them with your conference coordinator of officials and the national coordinator, Tom DeFusco. Thank you to the coaches and conference coordinators who assisted in the identification of the footage used in this video. This segment focuses on the overall standard of play with the use of video from women's competition. The following clips are clear examples and are intended to educate officials and coaches to proper enforcement. This clip is a clear example of incidental contact at center ice between the player in red and the player in white. This occasionally is misinterpreted as a body check. This should not be called a penalty. In this clip, the puck carrier makes unavoidable contact with the player in white in the neutral zone. Again, this is sometimes interpreted as body checking. While there is contact here, this should not be called a penalty. Here is a good example of the player in the red skating backwards and making contact with the player in the white. Again, this contact was not a body check, but unavoidable contact. This also should not be called a penalty. Face-offs are a critical part of our game, and interference has long been a topic of discussion at the Rules Committee meetings. From an officiating standpoint, penalties of this type can be difficult to detect, especially if a three-person officiating system is in use. Officials must be cognizant of the contact that clearly impedes an opponent and meets the requirement for interference. This example shows the dark team player clearly interfering with the player in white as play begins. This is face-off interference and must be called a minor penalty. Here the player in white clearly impedes her opponent in the dark uniform. This is face-off interference and must be called. The overall video provides several clear examples of goalkeeper-offensive player interaction. Please be sure to review those plays and the committee's philosophy, which was the main adjustment to the rules for 2015-16. In women's hockey, plays all around the net can be difficult to judge. This sequence is focused on examples of goalkeeper interference penalties that must be enforced. Remember that the new guideline is not intended to allow more contact with goalkeepers by attacking players. The following clips are all examples of goalkeeper interference penalties that must be enforced. As we all know, body checking is not permitted in any area of the ice in women's hockey. Body checking occurs when a player's intent is to gain possession of the puck by separating the puck carrier from the puck with a distinct and definable moment of impact. Any direct body check initiated by a player shall be penalized under this rule. This is one of the most difficult determinations that officials must make in the women's game. The following videos are all examples of penalties that must be enforced. Hitting from behind is not just a rule for men's hockey. This rule is in effect for women's hockey for the same student-athlete safety reasons as it is on the men's side, and the same penalties apply. It is important to be especially diligent when contact, especially from behind, becomes a check and therefore meets the description of hitting from behind. Hitting from behind into the boards or goal cage must be penalized with a major penalty and either a game misconduct or disqualification at the discretion of the referee. Just as it is in the men's game, the responsibility lies with the player delivering the contact. The committee understands that, in some cases, a player will be penalized for an unintentional hit, but student-athlete safety is the overriding concern. The following clips are all examples of hitting from behind penalties that must be enforced. In NCAA hockey at all levels, the expectation for referees when in the offensive zone is to be in the best position possible to attack the net. Being in the proper position, especially when making difficult rulings, makes it clear to everyone in the building that you have the best possible view of the play. It is important to always put yourself in position to view the play around the goal and not allow yourself to stay in the corner or along the boards. Here is an example of the referee in excellent position on the goal line to make the correct call. This play in particular was backed up by the use of video replay, but being in the right position allowed this official to make the call correctly the first time. In the four-person officiating system, there really is no excuse for not being in great position at the goal. The back referee has responsibility for any transitional plays leaving the zone, so the deep official should always be in good position. Being close to the net to make the correct call without becoming part of the play is always your end goal. Great job in this clip to be in position. Thank you for your time and attention to this presentation, and on behalf of the NCAA, good luck on a safe and successful season.